Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Hello, welcome back to the closing ceremony of Season 4, Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. Again, my name is Daniel Martinez Stahl. I was just chatting with some of the people in the background about some of the logistics of this project, the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of share this with all of you in the recording. So the way that I do my replays is a mirror of the live sessions, and you can see the dates that I have proposed. They're loose, but I do try and stick to them in the calendar link on the website. The website is channelingspirit.net, or you can do CSVS.cc. Either way will point you to the same website. And another page on the website is the archives. And so right now I've got Season 1 available to the general public. That is on YouTube as well as in podcast format. So if you want the video, go to YouTube. If you want audio, you can find it in any of the major podcast platforms. Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit or just Channeling Spirit Podcast should get you there. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/CSVS or youtube.com/@CSVS is the nomenclature that YouTube is using. But again, if you just do a search for Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, hopefully I should appear. And so you can have access to the recordings there. Once I finish editing all of the recordings for Season 4, I'm going to clean up the audio for Season 2 that I still haven't done. And then I'll post those and make those available as well to both those external platforms. If you want access to the recordings of Season 4 before they're made available 3 or 6 months down the road, any contribution through the donation links that are on the website will give you access to the recordings as soon as I get them ready. I post them into the early access package as I finish the editing and clean them up, even if it's a couple days before I make the replays public to the world. What else would I like to say? Thank you for being here. I mean, you know, it's an honor to share these amazing speakers with you. I was reminiscing about Season 1 when I wasn't going to be a speaker myself and I was just going to be the host. And one of the people that I was trying to get to speak, and I'm still trying to get her to join us, the schedules just haven't worked out. She said to me very clearly, you have to be a speaker too. And so I took that on, and so I've been a speaker as well. And so for me, this is a community to share in our collective space, to expand together, to support each other, to learn together. I was just speaking about the idea of teachers and students, and I was just reflecting on that. For me, a teacher is someone that helps the student learn, as opposed to someone that teaches the student something. And I'm learning that myself more lately than ever, within my own process, within my own journey, the way that I engage with the people that decide to work with me. I'm leaning myself more and more in that direction, which is a direction that I've been pointed towards for many years, but have never been able to see the what that means for me, and I'm beginning to touch into that space. And so I want to re-emphasize the fact that any lessons, any insights that came to you throughout any of these sessions, they were yours. They are yours. There's a comment that was made in a conversation earlier in one of the sessions, and I wanted to mention this, and the conversation kind of derailed my thought. Any insights that you get are yours. Anything that you have learned about how something works within yourself or in life, and you've understood that from a knowing sense of it, is yours. You can never lose it. There'll be times when life distracts us and we get caught up in certain noise that might hide our knowing that we learned in an insight. And so we feel that we lost it. I learned it, but I lost it. I had it, but I don't have it anymore. And that's not true. Any insight, any knowing that you feel and you recognize as truth for yourself, for your experience. And I say truth very softly because truth changes constantly. But when you feel the truth of something, when you resonate with something, that's yours forever. You've learned that. You have remembered that from within yourself. And so, respect that. Be kind with yourself as you integrate some new learnings of life and of how you want to live your life and want to experience your life. Give yourself that space and that freedom to adjust and to learn and to recognize the whole as you fall into it. It's a story that I learned from Tony Robbins. I'm not a huge fan of his work for a lot of reasons, which I won't get into. But he has some really wonderful stories. And he talked about when we are learning, the learning process is, we fall down a hole as we're walking down the street and we find ourselves in the hole and we're like, what the hell's going on? How did I get in here? What is this space? And you kind of struggle and you kind of fight, and eventually you figure out how to get out of it, and you find yourself out of the hole. And then you're like, oh, that was horrible. And the next time you're walking down the street, you fall into the same hole again. And again, you kind of catch yourself and you're like, wow, what happened? And then you go through the same process. And to make a long story short, every time that you fall into a hole, you have more awareness. And there'll even be a time when you say, okay, I know the hole is there. I'm not going to fall into it. And you fall into it anyway. And then you go back out. And the next time, with more awareness, you see the hole and you say, there's the hole. There's the hole. I'm not going to fall into it this time. And you kind of approach it almost with that kind of playful, kind of jovial thing of, this is the hole. I'm not going to fall into it. And you find yourself falling into it again. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm there again. All right. But at this point, it's no longer a struggle. It's a game and it's fun. And so then you pull yourself out of it. And eventually you avoid the hole altogether. And you're like all excited that you avoided the hole and you fall into another one. And the whole process starts over again. And so that's something that really kind of stuck with me in terms of our journey, our learning process, and to give ourselves that space and that compassion as we're learning to adjust to a new way of seeing things. Because this is what all of us are doing throughout these sessions, is we're learning to adjust to a new way of seeing things. We're learning to break with conventions that we've been living with for 20, 30, 40, 50 or more years, that we've been drilled into by society, by our own experiences, by our own patterns. And we're learning to shift that. And sometimes that's instantaneous, and sometimes that takes a bit of time. And there's no right way or wrong way. Be kind with yourself, be patient with yourself, and just allow yourself to enjoy the learning process, enjoy the journey. I've talked about how I'm a fairly slow learner with certain things, and my spirit team laughs at me whenever I talk about this. And one of the energy friends of mine that I talk a lot about is Maitland. And one time Maitland said to me, Daniel, just enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. And so I remind you guys that the journey is not about the outcome. The outcome will always shift. There is no end to our process. There is no end to our learning. We will never get there because there is nowhere to get to. And it's just a reminder, enjoy the journey, play with it, live from joy, live from compassion, live from freedom, live from abundance, live from creativity, live from inspiration. And that is going to shape your journey in a way that you're going to do nothing but enjoy. And so that's my wish to you all, is to invite you all to live your life from the energy of life itself, and to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. And I'm reminded to share something else, which I mentioned in one of the sessions. In one of my conversations with Spirit, one of the friends was talking about how when we get to the other side, we look back at our lives, and the parts of our lives that we really enjoy are the difficult times. And I was like, that makes sense, because that's what we come here for. Is we come here to play with the challenges, and how do we resolve it, how do we learn from it, and to kind of challenge ourselves in the process. And so be patient with yourself, kind with yourself along this path. For me, a lot of this kind of closing ceremony is really about gratitude. It's about giving thanks to not only all of the speakers, but all of the participants that were here with us live, to all of the people that are listening to the replays and to the recordings, to all of our spirit friends that have not only helped to orchestrate this, but have communicated their wisdom to us and reminded us that they are us and we are them, and we have the wisdom within ourselves. We have the capacity to invite our higher selves, our spirit team, our I am presence to live through us more actively. That's always an invitation that is available to us to play with. And so my mind went in two directions. One was, okay, so shall I go into my thank you language? And then I started feeling into, does somebody want to come forward and say something? And though I can feel a lot of, it's really difficult for me to put this into words because it's not the way that others describe it. I can feel the presence of other energies around, not in a sensory way, but in a knowing way. But I'm not getting any kind of strong indication from the collective or anybody to kind of step forward.
I'd like to say something.
Of course, go for it.
I have listened to most of all of these, and they've been wonderful, especially from a standpoint of not knowing where to start, what my direction is going to be. And I've known you via podcasts and emails for probably a year before your first CSVS. And I have learned so much. And my husband said something the other day. He says, do you have another CSVS coming up? I said, yeah. And he said, you're always calmer afterwards. So I thought you should know that these are very calming to me.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing
And
that.
thank you.
It's an honor to have you in the collective, Bev. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
So Bev triggered something which happens to
I
me
always
every
do.
time. This happens to me every time that I do these, a little bit more so in some seasons than others, but I start to feel this overwhelming gratitude and appreciation from both sides of the physical and non-physical. I playfully talk about how feeling is something that's hard for me to feel and to recognize. And I say that partly because I know that many of us struggle with that feeling space. Um, and I'm always reminded by almost everybody that I speak to, no, Daniel, you can feel and you feel very profoundly. And I know that. And I'm saying this because some of you out there might be like me, where very intellectual, very heady, very difficult to feel into emotions and to connect at that space. But I can assure you that you're not as closed down as you view yourself to be. And so as we are all on this journey of learning to understand our beautiful humans, we have all chosen the characteristics of our beautiful humans for a certain reason. Some of us choose a representation through feeling, through emotion, through sight, through sound, through taste, through touch, through music, through dot, dot, dot. I always talk about how we are here in this life to learn about this beautiful synergy that exists between our soul and our human, our soul and our body. Many of the speakers this season have talked about this aspect of the spiritual journey that our human experience is. And I talk about that all the time. And so honor your human, bring your human with you as you expand into new areas of living life. Because believe me, while you are human, that is the only way that you can experience beyond what you already know, is with and through your human. That's why we're here. Um, being compassionate with the characteristics of your human that have allowed you to judge yourself and question yourself in the past. Be compassionate with the characteristics of your human because you chose them on purpose so that you can learn and expand and grow. Your human is a perfect, perfect vehicle for you to experience the wide depth of emotion and experience. What I'm hearing as I say this, and I don't know if I agree with it, but I'm going to repeat it because this is what's coming into my head, is there is no other being in existence like the human being, and the capacity that it has to experience such a wide variety of experiences and emotions. And so I invite you all to just be patient with yourselves along your journey, be open, be loving to yourself and others. There is no judgment from anyone about what is right, what is wrong, what is the correct way, what is the incorrect way. Somebody's path and somebody's journey is perfect for them. We don't need to change them. If they come to us for assistance and they come to us for guidance, then absolutely help them in whatever way comes to you. And this speaks for you as well, as you relate with your own journey and your own process. And so I cannot tell you who it was that just came forward to speak. Um, I can tell that that wasn't me speaking. I can probably tap into the energy of it and kind of ask. And what I get is it's the collective. I get the collective. The collective of this platform speaks through me, and I get it as the collective. Um, and so, thank you all for being here, for being part of this journey, being part of this process. I'd like to take a moment to actively give gratitude and appreciation and to feel into the honor of what it is to play with spirit, to play with our spirit, to play with who we are as spirit, and to experience that all through our beautiful human. We've been talking about the aspect of recognizing that I am and that we are all one. And so I normally individually thank the different beings of light of different descriptions for the roles that they have played in our journey throughout this season. And what I'm being reminded is that it's not necessary for me to separate them out, because as I say thank you to everyone that's been involved, it is inclusive of them. I like to include them as a closing of the circle, of a closing of the ceremony, of a closing of the sacred space that we have been sharing and working together. And what I am being reminded of, or I'm being invited to recognize, is that you don't need to close a sacred circle as you have been taught in many other modalities in the past. In fact, leaving the sacred circle open allows you all to communicate and connect with your higher selves easily. There is no need to close it. And so I will leave the sacred space open for as long as it feels right for you to play in it, to experience it, to savor the experience of, in whatever way is appropriate for you. And I personally, because I enjoy doing this, thank you to the beings of light and love that have been with us along the journey, to our higher selves, our guides, our mentors, our angels, our masters, our advisors, and our loved ones, to all of the beings of light and the master healers that help create a safe and sacred space for us to play in. We are thankful to all of you for the role that you play and have played and will continue to play in our lives, not only through this session, this season, but beyond. Thank you to the energy of Source, the I am presence, the energy of I am. And there's really no other way to say this. I cannot put language around thanking the collective consciousness that we are all a part of, for allowing us to expand and to play and to experience and experiment in the many different ways in which we are learning and exploring and expanding our own understanding of what it means to exist. We know as we come into these physical bodies that there's aspects of our experience that we forget. And that is part of the fun, that is part of the joy, that is part of the experience. And so the thank you to Source, to Spirit, is not thanking Source as an energy outside of ourselves, but it is thank you to Source, thank you to me. I am thanking myself for making all of this possible. I am thanking myself as I look at each and every one of you as we all come together and we allow ourselves to remember, even by a tiny bit, that we are never alone. We are all here together. We are all here supporting each other. We are all here learning in our own individual paths, in our own individual ways. So thank you to me, which is all of you. And with that, I am complete. So, next season. Wow. Next season is May 5th. Sorry, my mind's taking a little bit of time to regroup after that. May 5th is the next season. Many of the speakers from season 3 will be coming back, and I'll be looking to fill in some of the gaps. So all of the speakers from this season will be invited to come back in season 4. For those of you that are new to this platform, my seasons are February 2nd, May 5th, August 8th, and November 11th. So 2255881111. Same format, 4 days, 12 speakers, 3 speakers each day, and then with the replays following a similar format. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Hopefully you're listening to this. There's a link in any of the descriptions of this recording as to how to come back to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit website. Hopefully you're able to join us live and to interact with us. As we grow and as we expand, I'm hoping to maintain this kind of intimate feel. I will do my best to allow that to continue even as this platform grows. So hopefully you can come and play with us live. And beyond that, I have nothing else for you guys. I love you guys. I will leave you with, surprise, surprise, being spirit, being human, simply being from love. And I look forward to seeing you guys all on season 5, May 5th. I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.